Hello, my friends. It looks like a fine day for a soaking. Because today it's time for me to present a video on Sonic 2, since that's really what this series is all about. What, did you actually think I made this series because I was dying to talk about Sonic 1?
No, you silly livers! No!
Because you can't get any cooler than this. We're about to take blast processing to the next level. Are you up to it? Because it's time to start unfolding thematically when I get to talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Pew. Oh. Much like its predecessor, Sonic 2 can be stated to have somewhat of a mix between realism and stylization, or surrealism, but with one added difference. Saturation. Now, after Sonic Team invented time travel up in Japan so that they could start work on Sonic CD, SEI decided to use this newfound technology to time travel into the future and experience the magic of image filters on the modern phone. They then went ahead and dumped Sonic 2 into it, and here we are today. Not only that, but they even decided to fully paint zone types a different color in this game's iterations, as I will explain in a bit. Now, while I personally prefer the color palette of Sonic 1, you gotta give Sonic 2 credit where credit's due. Why don't I address Scrap Brain Zone and Metropolis Zone? Remember when I said they painted zone types a different color? Well, this is what I was referring to. Both are at the very edge of each respective game, and serve as robotics' main base of operations. And while both zones serve a similar purpose, the tones are not as similar as you may think. You may remember me stating in the Sonic 1 video that, while a zone like Scrap Brain's music reflects a very overbearing track, one that also absolutely embodies the industrial tone of the zone itself. While Metropolis immediately throws you into the facility itself for all three acts, and its music, while also feeling mechanical, has some pop thrown in too, making it a much more upbeat track. But with us getting into comparisons, why don't we just quickly go over the rest of this game's equivalents. Green Hill? Emerald Hill. Spring Yard? Casino Night. Scrap Brain? Metropolis. I guess you could also say Labyrinth and Aquatic Ruin, though I'd call it more of an evolution of Green Hill, Marble, and Labyrinth combined, but just to humor you, why don't I mention the first two as well. So Labyrinth has a very slow and bubbly track, fitting the tone and gameplay set by that stage, while a track like Aquatic Ruins is adventurous and always moving, much like the stage it accompanies, as even for players unlucky enough to land in the water, the newly added Spin Dash keeps the pace up. The drawing music is as intimidating as ever though. Might as well go into a little look-see on the music now, shouldn't I? First off, the music in this game is some of the best that Genesis has to offer, from the great percussion to the amazing way it complements each song. Nakamura really hit it out of the park this time, just as they did with Sonic 1. Your general opinion on the music should have already gained some ground by now, considering it's what you've been listening to this whole time, and I'm hoping you agree with me on its quality. But even if it's not your cup of tea, I'm sure there'll be something down the road in this series' long history and great and varied music that you'd be more than happy to listen to. I might as well bring up the concept of zone evolution in this game as well. Now, I've already talked about Aquatic Ruins, so why don't we touch up upon Spring Yard and Casino Night Zone. Now, while Spring Yard isn't inherently a casino level like Casino Night, the latter brings upon what the former left to it. Spring Yard is filled with bumpers and springs and almost feels like you're thrown into a pinball machine for the zone. Now, what Casino Night Zone does to build upon that is it's pinball, but in Vegas. Paradise to be specific, because in actuality Vegas is more like Sandopolis than Casino Night. But does that mean Casino Night is a part of Sandopolis? Who knows? But we're at a casino, and you know what that means.
Rated M.
Money! The sweet smell of an all-day sucker.
Well, that's not all, because, well, I've been holding out on you guys. And by that I mean I skipped a couple of zones. So let's get through those in the lightning round of sorts. Chemical Plant, the second zone in the game and one of the most memorable. If Sega's constant nostalgia pandering with it doesn't prove that to you, I don't know what will. But the zone is a proper area controlled by Robotnik, his own chemical plant, if that wasn't obvious enough. And thus, it is infested with badness. A well-designed area in my opinion. And do I even need to mention the music? Am I going to?
Of course I am!
Now the music in this You know what? I think I'll let my good friend Tony the Tiger explain it for me. let's get to the 5th zone of the game, Hilltop Zone. I really enjoy the aesthetic of this zone. Something about the colors really mesh well for me. It also has different stage elements such as seesaws and chairlifts. Another thing to mention is the stage splits into 2 different areas. An overground area filled with pine trees, rocks, and grass, and an underground cave area filled to the brim with, oh yeah, lava. Speaking of underground caves, Mystic Cave Zone. If the transition didn't make it clear enough, I like this zone. Heck, both aesthetically and musically is my favorite zone in the game. What can I say? The colors contrast great, the music sounds godly, all the little touches and detail to this zone is what makes it what it is, and I personally couldn't be any happier. Oil Ocean Zone, aside from providing an explanation to where Robotnik gets all his money and energy from, is filled with purples and yellows and a good amount of green as well. Though the zone, despite being centered around oil, feels much like a desert, just due to the background alone, which I believe is showing off Robotnik's effect on the environment. Well, either that or the facility was built upon an already existing desert. I'll leave that for you to decide or find out if there's any evidence in either's favor. Much like many other zones in the game, the specific environment is taken advantage of through gameplay and using different elements that would logically be there. The music seems to take Arabic influence, which could lean in the direction of it already being a desert, but again I'll leave that up to you to decide. Now the special stage. This game introduces the iconic half-pipe structure, which would be reused a multitude of times throughout the later games. As a basic rundown, this game features 7 Chaos Emeralds, which can be collected by completing each of the 7 special stages in the game. Each special stage features this variation in color, though the music stays the same for all, which I believe serves its purpose well as an accompanying piece. Now that's everything you may find in the original, but we are not done yet, as in the 2013 release of Sonic 2 on mobile devices, it features one more secret level. The Hidden Palace was a scrapped level from Sonic 2 cut due to time, but this stage has been revived in the place of Mr. Cave's annoying spike pit in this version. It includes different level mechanics throughout the zone. It uses an abundance of water and has a very clean look. Its music's great as well, but I think that's about it with what we have to cover with atmosphere for now, so let's get to characterization, baby! Woo! Now that right there, folks, is what we like to call a second idle animation, alongside a couple of balancing out. You know what, I think we should probably talk about the sprite itself now. Now compared to Sonic 1, this sprite doesn't have much to offer in contrast to Sonic 1's design. I mean, we have a visualization of the shiny head, and he's definitely rocking a much more saturated blue, but there's not much more you could say about it. It's the same carefree, cool blue dude with an attitude we've gotten to love from the first game. He's even got a shiny red biplane this time around. 8 years before the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, a fox was born. His name was Miles per Hour. Miles loved machinery and all sorts of other things a kid would like, but he was different from the other animals on the island, as he had a birth mutation. The fox was born with 2 tails. Because of this, the other animals would often tease and bully Miles, whom they nicknamed Tails, for this freakish defect. This made the small fox very shy and reserved, though recently, the island has been paid a visit by a certain blue blur. Sonic was cool and confident, and Miles had much respect towards the blue hedgehog. Sonic inspired the small fox. Miles wanted to be just as cool as him. Determined, he started following Sonic around. Trying to keep up with the fastest thing alive, he learned both how to spin dash like his blue hero, and effectively make use of his once much disdained mutation, eventually seeing it not as a weakness, but as a strength. One day the fox boy stumbled across a red biplane on the beaches of the island. A lover of machines, he approached the vehicle, observing it, only to find Sonic the Hedgehog resting on the other side. This realization didn't last long, however, as soon after, explosions rang out, and robots raided the island. Miles was flung under the aircraft by one of the blasts. Though now standing in front of the fox, ready for action, the blue blur knew exactly who this was, and sprinted forward, without a thought Miles trailing right after him. Sonic didn't seem to think of the 2-tailed fox as much more than a tag-along, though he did occasionally monitor the fox from the side. How about those robots or badniks, huh? Lightning round time. Buzzer is just an evolution of the Buzz Bomber from the first game. Coconuts is a completely new badnik who chucks coconuts at you. Masher is literally just Chomper from Sonic 1 with a new paint job. Grabber is a spider-like badnik that grabs you and tries to self-destruct. Spiny spits a pellet out of its head. Chop Chop is a piranha. Grounder is just a better version of Burrowbot. Okay. Wisp. This badnik's name is... It's Wisp. Wisp. Anyways, it's just an insect, and that's all it is. And it's just as annoying. Crawl has a bumper shield that can block attacks from everywhere but behind. Gola is Unidasu, but fire. Rexon is a pink sea creature with a long neck you can destroy. Spiker can throw its spiky hat at you, making you vulnerable. Carlton comes out of the wall. Flasher is dangerous while flashing. Now it's worthless. Aqua spouts pellets at you. Octus spouts pellets at you. This is Oil Ocean Zone. Astron is annoying. It explodes, leaving spikes barreling in 5 different directions. Shellcracker is shaped in the form of a crab and launches its claw at you. Its strength is blindsiding the blue blur. Slicer is the scum of the earth, and we can all agree on that.
Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik, the most cunning scientific genius in the world!
Just like last time, has assembled an army of badniks for our heroes to face. Though unlike Sonic's last bout with the Doctor, his ambitions have grown 1,000-fold. For this time, he plans a world conquest using none other than his very original creation, the Death Egg. At all costs, Eggman must be stopped, and there's only one duo right for the job. Luckily for them, the scientist has taken interest in this island, as this island is the ancient location of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Collecting these would make the Doctor unstoppable, and so he is primarily occupying the island during the Death Egg's construction. Unluckily for him, a certain blue hedgehog and two-tailed fox seem to have beaten him to it, and with the power of the emeralds, Sonic takes on a form he has never held before. Sonic's new form, Super Sonic, is virtually invincible, though still vulnerable to being crushed and having a lack of air. This form also allows him increased speed/acceleration, increased mobility, including a higher jump height, and the ability to seamlessly destroy metal, even while not in his ball form. With this power, the Hedgehog should be sure to crush the Doctor. Oh yeah, Miles' idle animation. It's just yawning. That's all it is, you know? I think it's time we end this. After facing the dreaded Metropolis, the pair take to the skies in the tornado. They face multiple airborne badniks before reaching the aircraft they've been pursuing, the Winged Fortress. Right before reaching the airship, Robotnik's forces shoot down the tornado, leaving Sonic to face the rest of the journey alone. After making the treacherous trip through the flying stronghold, Sonic faces the Egghead one last time. Winning the bout, Robotnik flees into one of his shuttles. All is not lost, however, as Miles, using his mechanical know-how, fixed up the tornado just in time to catch up with the Mad Doctor. Without time to lose, Sonic hops on the shuttle, and holding on with all of his strength, just barely makes it onto his final trial, the Death Egg. This is it, the final frontier. And with some uncanny music outlining the scene, along with not a single ring in sight, Sonic bolts forward only to find a robotic doppelganger of himself, ready for battle. After a swift defeat, the Doctor finally reveals himself. Sonic, ready to bring an end to this terrible space station, chases right after, before Robotnik reveals one last trick up his sleeve. This is the final battle. This moment will ultimately decide the fate of the world. Both give a valiant effort. Blow after blow attempted, though in the end, only one victor arises. With the 12th and final blow, the Death Egg robot goes down, and Sonic makes his daring escape off the exploding station. All the animals watch on as the Death Egg falls from the sky, though our little fox friend from earlier is thinking of something else at this moment, someone else. Without a thought, jumping into the tornado and taking to the skies. In the bad ending, to save someone's life, though in the good ending, the canonical ending, finding a welcome surprise. Both have gained something from this adventure, though if there's one thing to take away from this journey, it's an eternal bond between two new best friends, Sonic the Hedgehog and Miles Tails Prower.